not everyone in a team is going to be someone like Paras Khadka.
I think the quicker a nation realizes that sport is business, the better it is for everyone.
Which of the young players in particular have impressed you the most from Nepal?
Everyone is an ambassador, is a goodwill ambassador to their country.
Sports fanatic country. Look at the rise of cricket lately. And if you talk about football, we have history of clubs that are around 100 years old. I don't think the sense of working as a semi-pro and having a job, getting a degree, having a job has been clear in the mindset of Nepali athletes. Do you see the Nepal women's team now? Do you see them growing? What do you see? Which of the young players in particular have impressed you the most from Nepal?
I think the men's cricket in Nepal is on such a different level.
And I think it's the fans that make the sports beautiful, right?
Nepal!
What's your impression of Paras Khadka? Please, you can carry your coffee.
Yeah.
So this coffee is specially Nepali made coffee.
Mm-hmm.
So it's low on acidity. I think that's best for people like you and me, always on the go, suffering from those heartburns and everything. So less on gastric. And the idea about having coffee as one of my sponsors is that it gets the conversation going. First of all, as they say, better late than never. Welcome to Nepal.
Well, thank you. I think you and I met a couple of days ago. So that was a warm welcome. Yeah. But I'm just so happy and feel even more welcome to be in your space and to experience this. And I think seeing Nepal and Kathmandu through your eyes.
This is your first time in Nepal?
Very first time. You have no idea how long I've been looking forward to. Especially over the past 3-4 years, there's been a huge spotlight on Nepal, and the cricket team's doing well. The coming off the NPL, the first season and even the second season, incredible to watch. So you always feel like you're missing out, but also supporting from the sidelines. And if you look at the first season of the NPL and the second season, now there were seats, there were lights. The fans were going crazy. The coverage that was on it was quite incredible. So when I got the call that I'm coming now to the ICC Women's T20 World Cup qualifier, you have no idea how quickly I packed my bags and started doing researching and even more and things to do. So it's been a wonderful opportunity to be here. It's something that I'll be eternally grateful for. And I hope that this is not my last time. And I'm starting to get my way around, especially to Tamil and to the nice restaurants.
Tamil is a good place to hang out.
I enjoy it. We went to one shop yesterday, and everywhere you go, and they get a whiff that you're involved with cricket. You sort of get this reception that, okay, we understand you, your family, and thank you for being involved with cricket. Even though there's barely any involvement, we're coming here to be support services, but people feel that you appreciate, you see them by being involved with cricket in Nepal, and they feel a sense of this sense of looking after you and taking care of you, people that you've never met. So it's incredible, the amount of hospitality that we've been offered.
Have you realized, because see, one thing common between us apart from commentary is that we travel a lot. So every time we're traveling, it's not until you go out, meet people, go to the restaurants, try the local food and everything, you start understanding the culture. And that's when things starts happening. You feel more of a home away from home. Has that happened to you?
So that happened even from the time that I landed. And how everything was organized, and even the people that picked up us from the airport, and how they were explaining on the way to the hotel. There's this, I'm not sure how a country is able to achieve such a sense of ownership where everyone is an ambassador, is a goodwill ambassador to their country. So from the guy that that provides transport services to you, the person that meets you at the hotel, everyone, whether you go to a shop, whether you go to a restaurant, everyone feels this sense of responsibility to say, okay, we're here to show you what Kathmandu is all about. We're here to show you what the area of Mopani is all about. We're here to show you what Gokana Forest is all about. Everyone feels this sense of responsibility when they see that you're an outsider, to show you what this is all about. So it's been a warm welcome for myself, especially, and for the rest of the team that we came with here.
Okay. So every time, I remember it was Johnny who told me about you, that you're coming, and I started Googling, is that exactly the player that I'm thinking of? Oh, yes, the player I'm thinking of. And your name resonates to a very classic, let's call it cult classic Hollywood movie. It's called The Mighty Ducks. Have you watched that movie?
So I haven't been one for movies, but I think I've had that resonance before.
The name is there. The coach is called Gordon Bombay, and you're Vix Bombay, right? So it always reflects, and I had to check the spelling. It's Bombay or Vambe. It's also Bombay again. So one of my favorite movies growing up. It has like 2-3 series of that movie, and every morning I remember Star Movie showing that movie. Amazing. It's about the ice hockey team. It's fun.
So there's a lot of resonance that comes with, especially a lot of movies, films, music that we listened to in the childhood. And back then it was limited content. So everything that you watched, you valued, and you sitting here and talking about it and still getting some relevance from it. It's incredible, right? And ice hockey in Namibia, we have where I'm based, we have inline hockey, so similar to ice hockey, but we have inline hockey. So you play almost with the same puck, but instead of ice skates, you use rollers. So in Namibia, this past year, 2025, won bronze at the World Games. And looking at like Namibia, a country with just 3 million people, and punching above their weight when it comes to the world of sport, it's incredible. Actually, that's a video that I woke up to this morning. I opened my social media. It was just a realization and a reminder of how great, sport has gone in Namibia and in many of the nations, and how it's become a unifier and a connector. So yeah, incredible times to be involved in sport.
So Namibia, I think it's one of world's, it falls under 30 to 40 biggest countries in the world. But the population, I don't think it's that big in terms of its land area.
So when you explain Namibia to people, and there's such a huge disparity between coming from Namibia and being here in Kathmandu, there's very little people in Namibia. And you're always guaranteed to be the first car at a traffic light, at a traffic stop.
Okay.
On Sundays, it's a thing. You don't see people because everyone is either in church or at home or resting. The only place in the world where the desert and the ocean meet, and you have a beautiful road that drives in between, home to the highest dunes in the world, the wildlife, the rivers. But what we don't have is much. What I marvel to that 2 days ago when I was in Gokana Forest Resort is trees. We don't have a lot of trees. So whenever I come to a place like this where there's big trees and it's green, I marvel. So I think those are some of the huge disparities, population at vast distances. And we enjoy traveling in Namibia, long distance traveling, because you can drive for 10, 20, 30 kilometers on a national road and not meet another car. So it's a beautiful place to live. We call it a place of wide horizons. So because you can always see the furthest that your eyes can go on a clear day. But to tell you what, I also truly appreciate the beauty of Nepal and its people.
I think that's the opposite with you and me, because since I'm born and raised here in Kathmandu, we have these hills all around. And every time I go to some flatlands and I don't see any hills nearby, something happens with my brain, because I think it's the brain playing something with you. And especially with Johnny and me, we were there in Tarai, the flatlands of Nepal. We're doing commentary and the sunset, the Tarai sunset. It's very popular, right? So all the tiredness of the day would go away to a limit when we used to look at the sunset. And I was pretty clever. I was making Johnny do the post match all the time,
so that you can just enjoy that sunset. So if you're looking for a place to enjoy a sunset every day, no matter where you are, be it you're in the desert of Namibia, which is also one of the oldest deserts in the world, be it you are in what we would call our bush or our forest, be it you're in the capital city, Windhoek, you'll always be guaranteed to see and to get the most beautiful sunsets because of those wide horizons that I'm talking about, and beautiful colors in the evening as well. And I think for me, it's especially right now in the times where we are, I think it is one of those places where, whether you're looking to do business, looking to travel, looking to get some inspiration from life and from the very simple things of life, I think that is a place to be. Different places draw different inspiration. And I think Namibia is one of those places that has resonated with me in that sense.
And so, talking about sports itself as a whole, a big country with a small population, but there's so many sports growing, and that's something very interesting to see.
Look, I think one of the two things, I spoke of disparities, but I think one of the similar things that when a nation has passion, numbers don't matter. I mean, look at the passion that the Nepali people have when it comes to supporting, be it cricket, be it football, be it volleyball, be it badminton, be it a single Nepali golfer that does well. And when you see these stories, and it only takes one athlete or one team, and then you see everyone coming and rallying together. But bringing that back to Namibia, let me just draw you a picture. So Namibia men's cricket team is going to the World Cup now in India, Sri Lanka. They've been to the previous World Cups. The women were also now here at the World Cup qualifier after having won the regional qualifiers with Zimbabwe in Windhoek. Namibia men's cricket beat South Africa when they opened their NCG, Namibia Cricket Ground, on that inaugural match at that facility, beautiful facility, two world-class cricket facilities right next to each other. And you look at the Olympics, we had two young female sprinters, Beatrice Masalengi and Christine Vambe, punching way above their weight. People that are my age and a lot older, they'll remember the Namibian silver medalist, Frankie Fredericks, at also the Olympics, I think it was in Miami. You look at the inline hockey team that I was telling you about, winning bronze at the World Games. You look at the football teams. You look at so many different sports. You look at our boxers. You look at the tennis players. You look at people that are really coming up now. I'm heavily involved in a sport called paddle tennis. Having a couple of partners, and we built paddle tennis courts the first paddle tennis courts in Windhoek, and two at the beach in a little town called Swakopmund. And how people within months took up that sport, took ownership of that sport, became serious with it, and are starting to organize tournaments with neighboring countries, and how everyone that travels to a different country, they carry their paddle racket. So there's a passion, a huge passion for sport, be it athletics, be it hunting. Hunting is a big thing in Namibia. Fishing is a sport, is a big thing in Namibia. Lawn bowls is a big thing in Namibia. So I think there's 53 registered sport codes, and I can tell you of those 53, at least 25 of them are punching well above their weight on the world stage. Karate, a lot of sports that are happening, and it's compliments to the leadership and to the environment that we have. Our current president, Her Excellency, Madame Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, our new president, she's made sport number 2 priority as a priority sector for the government.
Now, I was about to ask that because, see, you've seen the talent in Nepal, right? The talent pool is huge. And we are also a country that plays around 100 sports. So, being a sports fanatic country, and look at the rise of cricket lately. And if you talk about football, we have history of clubs that are around 100 years old, right? So we actually have it. Look how we were talking about how volleyball is coming out. It's actually the national sports of Nepal. A few years ago, it was. Interesting thing was there was no official national sports in Nepal. So I think back in 2017, 18, I'm a bit up and down there. The government finally fixed volleyball, and the reason I think it's a very cheap sports and everybody can play just with a ball, and maybe you can put up a net, right? So in a country like Nepal, in every podcast, I have a few narratives. When I talk to people, when I talk to ministers, when I talk to policymakers, I talk to them about prioritizing sports for the nation, because it can be established as a sector itself, an industry, sports industry, which also touches the tourism part of the country. And I think just like Namibia, Nepal and Namibia both are good with tourism. There are a lot of tourists who fly in every year, right? Especially in Nepal, it's people coming in here for trekking, right? So those kind of stuff. But now if you bring in cricket more, you bring sports more, you bring those international tournaments that will happen in Nepal. If I think even with the women's qualifiers, there may be so many foreign players, parents who have come in to watch, right? So now the priority, I just want to talk to you about this. The value of prioritizing sports in the country, that makes a massive difference.
Look, I'm not shy to say this. I think the quicker a nation realizes that sport is business, the better it is for everyone. So let's break that down a little bit. So you have sport as the players that are getting paid to play, so they're looking after their families. They are able to send their children to school and look after and a living. But these people that are curating the grounds, that are looking after the grounds, these people that are on the backside of that office, there's partners and sponsors, there's the selling of rights on TV, there's people that are consuming that sport on TV, there's people that are consuming the brand that that I have on the shirt, there's people that are consuming the brand that I have on the shoulder. There's kids that are looking up. There's now you have sports academies, which feeds into your pipeline. So these development coaches that are on that structure that are also earning a living from coaching. Now kids are active. Now it makes the nation an active nation. Now you've become a competitive nation. Now people take interest. They want to come and play with you and against you. So now you attract tourism. Now hotels are full. Now Tamal is full of people. Sure. By outside of the cricket. After the cricket match, after the football match, people are going to shopping, or they're going to eat at a restaurant. If you look now, the past couple of weeks that we've been here with the women's cricket, a lot of teams have brought in their families, right? And where are those families sleeping, eating? How are they traveling? Where are they shopping? How are they spending their money? So a lot of direct benefit that derives from just hosting, especially something of this nature, like the Women's T20 World Cup qualifier. And it also goes to show about governance and the trust that ICC and all these other bodies have in Nepal cricket and in Nepal as a stakeholder to the development of the associate game, and obviously looking to improve on that. So there's a ripple effect of just one tournament. How many hotels were booked? How many beds were booked? How many transport operators benefited? How many small vehicle operators benefited? How many shop owners benefited? How many restaurants benefited? So once people understand how it directly injects into the economy, I think the quicker people realize, the quicker people support, the better. It's an industry on its own. And it's an industry that is far even beyond our imagination. I'm talking of it from someone that has been involved from a sports business for 10, 15 years, but it's even more complex. It's something that one is still trying to figure out.
True. Now let's move the shift to your personal career. We'll talk more about this. I want to more touch the topic of sports tourism, but we'll keep it for the later part. So for you, where did cricket start? Because there were so many sports. I think when you played, even at that time. So what made you come into cricket?
So I think it'll reiterate to my point. So I grew up in a neighborhood that maybe has produced 15, 20 international cricketers. And it was a little school that a cricket, part of the development program that loved cricket. And I'll start doing a little bit of name dropping as I go on. And cricket started simply because it's actually a really funny story that I've never really told publicly. The school caretaker had closed the school gates. And my house was literally maybe 50 meters away from the school gate.
Okay.
So when the senior cricket team had gone to play, and then they brought, back in those days, no one could really afford to have their own kit. So you had 1 or 2, 3 very big cricket bags that everyone shares. So when they came back from coming from a tour, school caretaker had closed the gate. What happens? They come to our house like, we can't really take this anyway. Can you keep it for the night up until we need it? I think I was first grade. And then in the morning, and then I was like, what is this? What is this thing? And then you start putting on everything, and and then people start telling you, oh, this is cricket, and you do this. And then oversized pads, oversized bats, very big helmet that's almost covering your nose. And your family throws balls at you. They take pictures because they think it's funny. And then you take interest just by that exposure. And then there was a lot of cricket on national television. And then that's how interest starts. And then you realize, oh, this sport is actually at school, so I can do it. And then I remember coming first at the end of that year in my first grade. And the present that I got was a kookaburra bat. Wow. So having my own cricket bat now, I have no reason not to go.
You feel like a king.
Yeah, if you feel the world. This is all you needed in the world, and a lot of kids would also, wanted to also get a cricket bat like that. And then there's always this when you grow up in a neighborhood where there's a lot of kids, there's always this talk where if the owner of the ball that you're playing with or the owner of the cricket bat that you're playing is angry, they pack up their stuff, they leave. So I think batting-wise, I initially had 2-3 lives, so that everyone can also use my bat. So that's how the love started, and it grew from there. And we're privileged to get a lot of exposure, to get a lot of touring to South Africa, to neighboring countries, a lot of cricket on TV. And then there started being content on YouTube about cricket. And then, there's a Shane Warne that takes 5 wickets. And then there's a Makai and Tini that you look up to. And then there's a Tatenda Time. There's a Stuart Matsikanyeri. There's Murray Godwell. There's
you should be mentioning Alan Donald.
There's an Alan Donald. There's one of my all-time favorite players. There's bowlers, Andrew Hall. There's Fani de Villiers. So there's all these people that you looked up to. And people score. And then now when you start to understand the concept of cricket and you fully fall in love with it, there's no going back. And then when you don't make the team, especially when you're starting, I'd put my hand up and to be a scorer. So then I'll travel with the team, when I was still not good enough to be on the team, and do the scoring, just to be next to the cricket field. And just to provide.
You just want to be involved.
You just want to be involved. You just want to be a part of it. And I think that's also another part of sport, and especially cricket, that we don't look into. I mean, why are we not developing scorers and umpires from a young age? And even match referees. Why do we have to wait up until people are middle-aged and older to start exposing them?
I'll just stop you to say something, right? So there's this scorer. He's, I think, 25 years old now. Last year I had him for the podcast. So he's been traveling all over Asia. He's from Nepal as a scorer, and he's doing that job very well. So, like you said, people just want to get involved, right? Yeah, please continue.
People want to get involved, and we owe it to ourselves to give them an opportunity to get involved. And how do we do that? More cricket matches, more games, more bilaterals, more tournaments, and so that they can sharpen and harness their skills. And so we need to create platforms, especially those that have either played the game or served the game. We have to make sure that everyone deserves a chance to do what they do best, be it either on the field or other auxiliary services around the game of cricket.
True. I think that's the beauty of all it. And was there any cricketer in particular that inspired you to play cricket, that you watched on television?
I think it was Wankhede Stadium. And I think we also grew up in a time where you had a lot of cricketers around. So, and I could name, it was Wankhede Stadium, it was T10 Taibu. Those are some. It was also Makai. I think, like, if you allow me to name five names, that because you derive different things from different people. You look at T10 Taibu being a trailblazer. You look at Makai being a fearless trailblazer. You look at the skill of Wankhede Stadium. You look at a Brian Lara, for instance, and you look at Mpumelelo Mbangwa. A lot of people know him now as a commentator, and voice of cricket. So those are some people that we grew around, that you derive inspiration from, and it's you've never looked back. And then there's obviously, as you grow older, you see more people and you understand more, and that inspiration window becomes a lot smaller. And then you get older and then you start to meet these people and talk to them. And we were privileged to be able to have access to all these people in and around our Southern African region. So I think that alone is something that keeps you going as a youngster.
So I want to talk about T10 Taibu because I think he took on the captaincy at the time when Zimbabwe had passed their golden generation. The Flower Brothers, Henry Olonga, those players, I think they passed, and he had been through this difficult phase for Zimbabwe cricket that he had to hold on to it. A very short guy. Even I remember we talking when we were playing, and this is the very short guy behind the stumps, and he's captaining the team, and it was something different for us to see from what we saw Zimbabwe with, right? So any such kind of things that happened in your career, that while you were playing, your team had been through that phase, that difficult phase or something?
So difficult phases come in cricket, and even be it at a school level, at a club level, or amateur level, semi-professional, fully professional. But what I want to highlight is, I think we've become better and more understanding managing that, and sort of like hedging our future risk when it comes to, you mentioned earlier about the golden generation, and then the exodus of the golden generation, and then the Taibus came in, and it was tough as a 21-year-old, filling up those booths. But if you go across the border, there was also Graham Smith, who was 21 years old when he became captain. So you need a system that understands. You need a system that's patient. You need a system that supports. And I think sometimes cricket fans and people that love the game, sometimes it can be very unforgiving, and they can be very impatient, especially when things are not going well. But if you have a fan base that understands and that's with you, even when it's not your golden generation, I think that's something that's very important. I remember there was a couple of years when I captained, and I was taking over the captaincy from former Namibian captain, Raymond van Schoor, who sadly passed away. May his soul rest in peace. So whenever he was not on national duty, I'll take the captaincy of the club. And whenever he's back, I'll stand down and he takes off the captaincy. And during that period as well, it was a tough period for transition because he's someone that everyone looked up to and someone that was highly respected, scored many runs for the country. So these are things that need to be managed well. These are things that there will come a time when the hotcakes of the team are not there anymore. But what are we doing in terms of pathway development and in the pipeline? What are we doing with the current under 14 Nepal players, under 15, under 16, under 19? What is that gap between coming from under 19 to national academy and all of that? So, and high performance. Because what you see, what has also happened, quite a lot what I've witnessed is sometimes you get thrown in the deep end and you're not ready. You're not ready physically. You're not ready emotionally. You're not ready mentally. It can be taxing as a young man, and I think that's also one of the things that affects a lot of players. One of the things that affected me when straight after school you need to go and try for the big leagues with the big dogs and people that are doing it for a living. So, and then you need to make a choice. Do I carry on fighting like this, or do I go to school? What do I do? And you've also managed to find players that are able to manage both, but not everyone is built with the same resilience. So I think we need to start creating systems that manage that transition from being schoolboy to high performance to becoming part of the national team, or be it schoolgirl, high performance and national team. And saying that, I must also take this opportunity to say I've watched closely Indu Barma, the captain of Nepal women's cricket team. What a leader she is, a complete athlete. You listen to when captains speak to their players, and you listen to how they go about their thing on and off the field. She's been impressive. She's been outstanding for me. She's probably one of the captains in this tournament that has been outstanding. Her and Babette de Lede from the Netherlands. I think I'll take my hat off to them.
Okay. I think this difficulty part, the sooner it comes, it's better, because the sooner you go through it, you learn. And then later on, those situations, you deal it pretty well, I think. So I think it's good that. So I want to ask you now, how big is it to play for your country, wear the national colors?
I don't think you can compare it to anything. And so there's two schools of thoughts. There's when you get there and you do not realize that you're there because everything is coming thick and fast. And then you only realize after that moment. And then there's also when you're a little bit older, and you make the sides, or the national team, and it's something that you've been fighting to get to. I think people like that also get to appreciate it more. So you get young talent that goes on, makes a national team. They don't realize it because it came so thick and fast to them. So maybe they value it a little bit less. And then you get those that have really worked hard towards tooth and nail to get there, and then they appreciate it a little bit more. But I think for everyone, whether the realization comes instantly or later, it's carrying the hopes of a nation is incredible. I mean, you saw how much this means to Namibia when there's a victory. You know, I saw how much that defeat of Nepal over Zimbabwe, how much it meant to them. And how much it means to them. So you also want players to realize how many people are looking up to them. And I think it's a different experience for each and everyone, but one of probably the most proudest moments that anyone can ever have.
Do you remember your debut?
So I remember everything around that. And then, what has happened over the years is, life comes at you thick and fast. I mean, it's many years ago. But I appreciate each and every moment and being, around senior players and being around people that you've always looked up to. And I also transitioned quite quickly, because it was also the time when you have to make a quick decision and a very stern decisions whether you want to carry on with this or move on. And I got an opportunity to study early on and decided that, okay, this was probably a perfect time to go and study and come back to the game a little later on.
Education is really important, especially with the athletes.
So I think that's something that why I highlight this is that's something that we also need to manage our athletes, our cricketers, our volleyball players, our chess players. Especially we're talking about that high performance. It's important that they make a decision to study, because what happens after the career? We need to manage. We need to provide resources when it comes to financial literacy and financial management. How many stories have we heard of people that made it big? The big bucks came in thick and fast, but 10, 15 years after the career, they're not where they used to. So I think financial literacy is something that's very important. Education is also something that's very important. And general mental health support is also something that's key. That is also quite dear to my heart. So we need to put in those, to make sure that we have those systems in place.
See, the reason I want to talk about this is, especially in Nepal, regardless of any sports, for athletes, it's all about practicing and playing and practicing and play more practice, and you play a few games. It's all about the practice, right? So I don't think the sense of working as a semi-pro and having a job, getting a degree, having a job has been clear in the mindset of Nepali athletes, not just cricketers, right? So at one point, like you said, not everyone in a team is going to be someone like Paras Khadka, right? There will be players who have played their career well, but once they're done with it, what next? They try to go in for coaching, some try to go for their own businesses and everything. But meanwhile, where you're playing, you get your degree, you get a good degree, you get your bachelor's, undergraduates and everything. So I think that will help you in future become a business person, maybe an entrepreneur like you, right? You have a few of your wings. Even if cricket stops for you tomorrow, you have some other stuff that will keep you alive. It's just like saying, don't put all your eggs in the same basket, right? So how important is that part of a player's lifestyle? Like you get your degrees, you balancing out sports and education.
So here's two ways to look at it. You can practice all you want, you can practice as hard as you want, but time management is something that's very important, especially in this day and age where you can attend university online and you get everything online. There should be no reason why no one should be getting an education or a training or a skill. So that's especially because people, another huge misconception, people think that you play sport, you earn a lot of money and then you can open a business. Running a business is skill. It's
a rule of thumb. I think that's the rule of thumb.
Yeah. It's not that I've amassed quite an amount of wealth. I've beat real estate, beat opening coffee shop, beat opening a bakery, beat having a couple of vehicles on the road, beat into transport business. It's not as easy if you do not have the training.
True.
And also, there's a couple of months when you open a business, you've put out money, right? And that money maybe starts coming back slowly and you become impatient. So I think with the amount of tools that are at hand, there's no reason why anyone shouldn't be looking to get an education or a skill. I'm not saying everyone should be getting a university degree, but I'm saying a skill, and skills can be received from it. You could look and say to different business people that you have in this place or in this town, say, hey, look, I'd like to shadow you for the next year or for the next 2 or 3 years. You've done well for yourself. You're successful. At the end of my career, I'd want to be able to be doing something like you is a sustainable business, not a fly-by-night business. Because there's cute business ideas, loads of them out there, but are they sustainable? Is it a business that will be there for the next 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years? Is it a business that can be a legacy for your family? So that's one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it is maybe use it as another tool to switch off from the game.
True.
So if you practice hard and your life is all about cricket, or soccer, or rugby, or tennis, maybe also have an outlet is education. Attend an evening class, attend an online class. Maybe start with something simple, because not all of us are gifted by sitting in school and sitting in one place. Maybe do a language course and see where it takes you. Maybe sharpen on your mathematics skills and see where it takes you. Maybe take an accounting course, see where it takes you. Maybe take a teaching degree, or especially if we're talking cricket now, especially if you're a player, maybe do your level 1 coaching, your level 2 coaching, maybe your umpiring coaching, maybe take some match refereeing, maybe take keen interest in commentary, not coming and saying, oh yeah, I used to play, I can talk. And it's not that easy sitting behind a mic and calling the game. So maybe take keen interest to say, hey, I've seen you guys doing the broadcasting. I'd like to get involved. What are some of the key areas that you think I need to sharpen on, or what I need to look at? So start thinking about that, because sport, it's a beautiful thing, but it can also be, we have to be honest to each other and say there's a brutal side to it as well. So sometimes the quicker you climb, it could also be a faster downfall. So we don't want to dwell on the negatives, but it is the truth. So it's important to do a little bit of life management when it comes to that. So education is key, skills are key, exposure is key. Like when I say exposure, I mean shadowing a business person. And one thing that we also overlook, especially when you're playing sport and you travel a lot, you overlook taking in experiences, because you just ground hotel and you're on your phone, and so speak to people, go out there and learn from different people. And I think that's also a very underrated skill and opportunity that you get to have whenever you play sport semi-professionally or professionally, and you meet different people in different countries.
So just when you mentioned about skills, I really agree to your point that, say, a good cricketer might always not be a good commentator, because I've had the experience of sitting with some former cricketers too, and some footballers too. And especially the footballers, they've told me they had a really hard time, and this job is not as easy as it looks, because it's not just about explaining the game. It's more about how you anchor as a commentator. It's more about the story, the visual storytelling. So sometimes what happens is, I've seen some juniors work with me, some friends work with me. They're trying too hard in the commentary box, be it any sports. They're trying to explain a lot, but the logic is, when it's a video comment match going on, people are watching it in video, you don't explain every detail. You just try to explain what is not seen by the public, right? I just try to be the third eye. So let's talk about a player turning into a commentator and the art of commentary.
So look, I think there's definitely room for a lot of players to become broadcasters, become commentators, and provide especially technical insight. There's people that are very good at that, that bring you technical insight, that explain to you, especially phases of the game, that this is what you need to be looking at and this is what's going on. Explaining it to someone at home, or like imagine explaining to a 15-year-old girl that's at home, or a 17-year-old boy that's at home that's watching. Say, oh, this is what's going on. This is the decision that the captain has taken. And this is what you need to be looking at. So I think there's room for that. And people need to understand their roles. There are broadcasters out there that would commentate and talk about a game of cricket, and you just fall in love with it. And there are broadcasters out there that people literally turn off the commentary and just watch the pictures, because you're being descriptive of a cover drive that has gone through the covers for 4 rounds. Everyone can see that. So I like the old school way of telling and talking about the game, what used to happen even on radio. So think about it as you're explaining to someone that's that's not seeing it visually. Because the visual effects are there. It's easy, and there's always going to be replay. But paint a picture of everything that's going on and what it means. What are the permutations that are going on with this current game? What are the stories of the people that are playing the game? What are have you ever had a one-on-one chat with some of these players, and what is their thinking? So paint a picture about everything, because you have unique access to what's happening at the ground, what's happening in their as human beings in their lives, what's happening tactically and technically the game, that you don't have to describe. Oh, it's a cut shot past backward point for 4 runs. So cricketers telling commentators, I think also it's also not a given that everyone will be good at it. I think it's important that it brings a lot of insight. It helps if there's a little bit of clout that comes with it. But it's important to just go through a little bit of training and guidance to say, you provide technical, tactical insight, or some behind the scenes conversation, because you've been in this changing room, you provide this, and try not to be broadcasters. I think the art has also changed. So you have people that provide technical insight. You have people that broadcasters that have been broadcasting the game for so many years that are really good at it. And you also have the presenters that are showing the vibe in the field. So I think there has to be a clear demarcation of who's doing what and what are they good at, and people stick to that.
True, because I see a lot of, especially there's a big youth that's trying to come into commentary, and whenever I see those local tournaments and everything, this is as you mentioned, this is explaining the shots. Like if there's a cover drive, oh, that's a cover drive. They're played paddle sweep or something. So it's every time I listen to that, it feels like going more basic, because if you played the game to some limit, at least, not like you playing in the senior team, right? Some modest level of game, holding the bat and holding the ball, going out there and fielding does give you an extra aspect of what's happening. Someone gets caught behind, you can analyze to his footwork, his bat not moving properly, his hand movement and everything. And I think that's more about cricket, because I feel cricket commentary is more like it's a micro thing. If you talk about football, it's a macro commentary stuff, because you don't explain in detail how the ball was shot and how the goalkeeper went to his right? But in cricket, you have to do it. Right?
That's a clever way of putting it, and I think this is I think that's why we bounce off each other quite well. You say cricket is micro and football is macro. Football you don't have to get into detail. I think football, if you listen to how poetic Peter Drury is, if you listen to some of these guys, they're incredible at their art, and they've mastered that art. You come to cricket, if you listen to Ian Bishop, if you listen to Mpumi Mbangwa, if you listen to, I want you to have a look at a guy called Dean du Plessis. If you listen to these guys, if you listen to Harsha, if you listen to Issa Guha, there's people that you also remember. You asked me earlier, who are the people that you look up to when you were playing cricket? These are the people that we all look up to when it comes to broadcast. There's loads of people. I mean, here there's a guy that's synonymous with cricket around. I think he's even got a Nepali name.
Andrew
Takludai. Yeah. So he's also done. He's also a lot of people look up to him. However, cricket is such a sensitive sport, and it's a difficult sport, especially if you're not involved. It's a difficult sport to like. I'm sure you've met people where you go like, "Oh, I love cricket," and they're like, "What is cricket? What is that all about?" And then you try to watch a match with them, and then they go like, "What is going on? What's so interesting about this?" But when you watch cricket on television as a product, you get to see everything. and you get to listen. And you always have to think about the product that's going out there and the visual experience for someone that's sitting at home that cannot afford to come to the stadium. And I mean, in some stadiums, they have, those little earpieces that you listen to the commentary while it's happening. Imagine that. Yeah. Imagine you guys have that for the NPL or for your next bilateral. That would be incredible, right?
Yeah. It'll be something very different for Nepal. At this point, I want to ask you now, did you ever plan while you were involved in cricket, playing cricket for the team itself internationally, did you ever plan that you would later on go into commentary, or everything fell in places that day, and then you ended up in broadcasting, or was it planned already?
I'll be honest with you, it was something that I never planned. I think I started off doing marathons. I started off doing radio adverts. I started doing voiceovers for adverts, and being invited to shows and doing, especially marathons. I'll be the guy hyping up 4, 5, 10,000 people before a marathon starts. Giving all the the safety briefings and making sure that you're in sync with the DJ, and so you do that. You get the crowd going, get everyone excited about the marathon. And 5 a.m, they run. As they're coming back, you excite them as they're coming back again. So that was my thing. And one day, I don't know what happened. I think I wandered past a cricket field, and then one of the guys that was supposed to be sitting and doing commentary, I think their flight was delayed or something, and they're like, okay, can you please assist us with this? I'm like, nah, I'm just here to watch. I went there, shorts, t-shirt, cap, flip-flops. I was planning to just watch cricket, work next to the field, do a couple of emails next to the field. Next thing, I'm sitting in the comms box. And then one thing led to the other. And then, can you please help with the next match? And the next match, and the next match. And then all of a sudden, things. So it's nothing that I planned. It's nothing that I was hoping that it would happen. It's nothing that I had experience in. But when the opportunity started to come, I was eternally grateful. I'm still incredibly grateful. And then it also takes time to learn to other people to say, okay, so how do these people call it, and how do they go about it, and finding your own way of doing it, because not all of us can exactly call the game that like how you call it. Not everyone can call the game how I call it, and staying true to yourself and to your style. So it's an opportunity that came without me expecting it, but I took the opportunity. I'm grateful for the opportunity, and it has given me some of the most incredible memories that I'll cherish for the rest of my life, and opportunities as well.
So before coming to Nepal, I think you were doing the Namibia USA series.
So I've done, just before coming to Nepal now, we were doing the Women's Emerging Nations Trophy. That was in Bangkok, Thailand, which was incredible. Some really good cricket that Thailand played, that final with Thailand and Scotland. The 1-run victory of PNG over Namibia. Some incredible cricket.
Was that the one where you said the finest of margins, right?
No, this was the finest of margins was 1 run. Thailand, Zimbabwe. Yeah, so that was the finest of margins. And I didn't even realize when it happened in that moment. Only later realize, because you're so invested in that moment. So you don't really think about what's going on and what you're going to say, because you're in the, especially when it comes to women's cricket. Some of these, I used to coach some of the, especially some of the Namibian cricketers 10, 15 years ago. So you're invested in their journeys, And then you start doing regional qualifiers. You start in Botswana. You see cricket players from Sierra Leone, Rwanda, Tanzania, and then they qualify, and then they come to Namibia. They play against Zimbabwe, Namibia, Nigeria, these countries. So, and then you get invested in that journey of Zimbabwe and Namibia, and then you go to emerging nations, and you meet countries like Thailand and Netherlands and Scotland.
Bhutan was there?
Bhutan was in
Okay.
Papua New Guinea, and then you get invested in a Naomi Vera, you get invested in a Tipacha Putawong, and you get invested in a Babette Galeda, in a Stay Carles, get invested in a Wilka Matile, in a Modesta Mpachiko of Zimbabwe. And then you see that journey of Netherlands qualifying yesterday. You see that journey of a Bangladesh qualifying. These are the stories that you cannot really share that emotion if you haven't really been there from the start, because you see the tears rolling down there as qualifying for the first time Netherlands yesterday to go to the T20 World Cup. You see what the anger and the disappointment that's on Zimbabwe face when they've been knocked out and they leave is Namibia as well. You saw the emotion on Thailand yesterday when they realized that, they wouldn't be able to qualify. So those emotions you leave through them, and you get so invested that you can't script it. You can't script them. You can't script how it's going to be the finest of margins. So it's been an incredible time being involved with the women's game, especially. And my journey coming from coach to now talking about the game. And so when I coached 10, 15 years ago, some of the players were 14, 15-year-olds coming to play women's cricket, and now they're senior players in the team, right? And then from that region, from that African region, you also had the players of Zimbabwe coming through the fold. So these are people that you've seen over the years, and now being involved and having an opportunity to see a Thailand, having an opportunity to see a Papua New Guinea, having an opportunity of seeing the Netherlands qualify and Nigar Sultana Jyoti yesterday talking about just that emotion right after they qualified. It's incredible having an opportunity like this.
So I know a lot of Nepalese are still watching till now because people want to know about Nepal women's team from you, because see, what I feel is commentators are the closest people to the game itself, because the way we need to understand the game in order to explain it simultaneously, it's a very difficult task. So what was your impression of Nepal women's team before you came here? I'm sure you must have done your research, but the paper research is something, and when you get to see the game, you see the individual talents. So what was the impression before, and how do you see the Nepal women's team now? Do you see them growing? What do you see?
So I'll be honest and say what I had done on my paper research and what I saw, two completely different things. My paper research, my talking to people, was, okay, they're a strong team, balanced team, and they'll struggle to make an upset, or they'll struggle in this tournament. And then come those matches, a totally different team. The way that they were the first ones at the field. Out of all the matches that they played in ours, they were the first team to arrive at the field. They were professional. And if there was any help that was needed around the field that has nothing to do with cricket, but that has something to do with them being able to play cricket, they were able to do that. And I spoke earlier about the leadership of Indu Barma. It was incredible to see them, and them taking that victory over Zimbabwe. It's something that will leave with them, and it's a message that they send across to say, we belong here. And my current version and perspective of that team is give them 2 or 3 bilaterals, send them to get opportunities for them to play in different leagues. And in a year, 18 months, you get a totally different team. It's a team that is full of passion. It's a team that is full of energy. It's a team that loves the game. It's a team that is just hungry for more opportunities to cement their roles in that team. So your batters need to bat against quality bowlers. Your bowlers need to bowl against quality bowlers. They need to take more catches. And now that you have a stadium like that, Tribhuvan University International Cricket Ground, you need more teams to come here. If I can be an ambassador to go and hustle teams to come and experience what has to be offered here, I mean, why not? I mean, it's in the middle of the winter. That stadium is green.
Yes.
Barely a year ago, there were stands. Now, look at what it looks like. Stands, lights. I've only been able to roam around in our media areas. I mean, you have everything that you need there. And yeah, it's a no-brainer that the path is right ahead of them, and that path is full of positive that they've taken from this tournament. The pride and the joy and the support of the Nepali cricket fans is behind them. People just need to find ways of making opportunities for them to keep playing quality opposition and not to wait for something to be created. They need to create that for themselves. And I also implore them personally to reach out to other players and other leagues to say, hey, look, I'd love to come to your country for a month and play some of the local cricket. What stops them from doing that? And seek, obviously, approval from the local board and do that. Because we cannot always continuously wait for someone to create something for us.
True.
There's no reason why some of those players cannot be playing club cricket in England. There's no reason why they cannot go for even half a season somewhere to go and play cricket and bring those skills back home and bring those skills to the team.
True. Which of the young players in particular have impressed you the most from Nepal?
I would struggle to pronounce her name clearly, and I wouldn't want to do any injustice to her, so you need to help me. Opening bowler, left, I think she's left spinner from you'd have to forgive me because
okay, I'll also check because I haven't been following it well,
Yeah.
to be very honest. Okay, let's talk about Puja Mahato, right? The one who won the game against Zimbabwe. She scored a half century. She's a young talent, right? So also the blend of players like Puja and Ruvina being there with the experience of veteran players like Sitarana Magar, right? So how do you see this team as a whole when it comes to Nepali women's cricket, not just in this particular tournament? So see, there's always this argument that we talked about Zimbabwe. They had this golden generation with the Flower Brothers and everyone in that team. They also beat India in the 99 World Cup with Henry Olonga taking, if I'm not wrong, 4 wickets in that game.
Yeah.
So, and then what happens is there's a gap when the talent pool doesn't help to bring in more players. But what have you, what is seen in this competition is there are players that are that have a few good years of cricket left in them, but there are players who are trying to come in regularly in the senior team. Do you see that balance of young and experienced players in the women's team good enough for Nepal, or do you think we can do more better?
So let's talk of the experience of Sitarana Magar. I mean, it's incredible. And then you have meteoric experience players like Puja Mahato. Puja Mahato is fearless.
Yeah.
She's incredible. She deserves all the recognition that she can get. And I think looking at that, the makeup of that team, yes, there's a lot of experience. And yes, there's a lot of young talent coming in. But I think they have what I would notice, or what I noticed from the sidelines and from watching them play. I think they still have a lot of cricket in them. So I don't think there'll be, I think there'll be a lot of more competition coming from the youngsters. But even the senior players, they are fighting hard to remain in that team, and they're competitive. But like what you said now, Sitarana Magar, experience, calm, collected, Puja Mahato, fearless. Once she makes up her mind that she's going for it. So it's. I think if there's any more to be done, I'll go back to my point. More cricket. Is there? Do you think wildly that there's any opportunity of maybe even just having 2 or 3 teams, women's teams in the NPL that play maybe just before and run it concurrently? Because some of the matches, from what I understood, they'll start in the afternoon and then some of them in the evening. Maybe have a women's match earlier?
A few years back, there was this franchise women's T20, right? But due to, I think, financial reasons, it didn't continue. But the first season, it went really well. And there was another one where I did the auction along with my senior. I assisted him. So that was also for a women's T20. But that didn't happen. I think that was back in 2018-19. So, and especially now with Paras Khadka coming in, I think he brings that experience as a cricketer, and he knows from a business point of view, from a growth point of view, and from commercial and profitable point of view. And Can has even hinted to maybe have our own women's Nepal Premier League. So
Wow.
I think that can do big, right?
I think having leaders like Paras Khadka is a gift that to a nation, and it's a gift that I think many nations would want to have people of his skill set and his knowledge of the game, his knowledge of business, and his passion. That man is up and down, only thinking the growth of the game in Nepal. And cricket has never had a true ambassador, especially in these parts of the world, like Paras Khadka.
True. What do you make of Paras Khadka? What's your impression of Paras Khadka? I really like to ask this question to my foreign friends.
So he's the complete package. He's the complete package. Former player, now an administrator, still serving the game, even after his years of playing, carries the respect of the people of Nepal. Everywhere where you go, everyone knows him. The people on the golf course, they know him. The people that provide transport for us, they know him. Everyone knows him. And if you listen to his latest interview now with regards to the World Cup, and I mean, look at the latest news coming up for Nepal cricket with regards to their match, and I think it's in Wankhede, being the second most sold tickets at the upcoming World Cup in India and Sri Lanka. Who is better ambassador to that, and who has really carried the name of Nepal cricket? And he doesn't seek any praise, and he remains humble and graceful through all of it. But there's a lot of work that has gone behind the scenes to make sure that things like this happen. His heart is in the right place, and I think with the support of the president, of the board of Cricket Association of Nepal, all the board of directors, board members, and all the sponsors, partners, players as well, and most important thing, the fans. I think when you carry a lot of respect and the trust of a nation, you can achieve great things. And I think great things have been achieved in Nepal cricket, especially in the last 3 to 4 years.
So the bowler you were mentioning was Manisha Upadhayay.
Oh my goodness. I remember this over. She came in, and so this is her bowl. She came in, bowled a couple of wides, bowled 3 wides, and took 2 wickets in that over. And what stands out for me, I mentioned this earlier in another interview with ICC TV, how Indu Barma went to her and said, "I just need you to calm down, back your ability, back yourself, and keep bowling." The very next delivery, she picked up a wicket.
Wow.
And then she came back, and then she got overexcited a couple of wides. Indu Barma went back to her, spoke to her, a wicket. And then there was chat between Indu Barma and Sitaranamaga in between whether she should bowl again or not. And then she bowled an incredible over. She picked up 3 wickets in the first 7 overs of the game. Ended up with a brilliant spell. And it was her first match in this tournament. And she changes the game. So incredible cricket player. And for a player that is that young to have so much skill and to open the bowling for a high stakes game like that, it's something that shows a lot of character.
True. So even for this competition to be held in Nepal, isn't it a big deal for Nepal itself? Because it's the world qualifiers, right?
I think it's a massive deal for Nepal. And I think some of it will only sink in later. Some of it has already sunk in. And this is testament to the leadership, right? This is testament to the fans. This is testament to the stakeholders to be able to have the nod from the ICC to say, okay, look, this tournament can go ahead. There's enough capacity. So it's a big deal. It's a massive deal. It's history it's another portion of history that has just been started, and this will bring a whole lot more. It will bring a whole lot more. The amount of attention that is on Nepal right now, the amount of attention that is on Nepali cricket, the amount of attention that is on the male players that are in India and Sri Lanka, the amount of attention that is on the women cricket team players, the attention that is on them now, and a lot of people that are asking. I mean, it's in the age of social media, so whenever you have an experience, you take your phone and you take pictures. Oh, this is really nice, and this is this. It's an incredible place to be to play cricket. I think for players that came, especially let's say from Africa, coming all the way across, players that came from Europe to come and experience this, it's amazing. We've really been looked after. We've experienced the world in a different dimension. We've experienced the love of the game. And I think there's more and more of this to come.
So you've been stationed in both of our grounds, the TU ground and the Mulpani ground, right? So what's the difference do you see in the pitches when it comes to matches, the spins and the swings?
So oddly enough, there's been quite a bit of consistency, because I think there's one curator that is overseeing the both facilities, which is incredible that they've managed, because I mean, Mulpani is a little bit on the upper level on that other side of town. And then here is a little on the lower side of town. If my geography and my geolocation is strung in quite nicely. But oddly, there's been a lot of consistency. However, there's been a few more runs at Mulpani. If you go into the history of this previous tournament, Mulpani comes across a little bit flatter. The grass is a lot quicker because the grass is a tiny little bit more drier there and a little bit lower. Whereas at TU, the grass was still a little bit thick because it would freeze a whole lot more overnight. So by the time the sun fully bakes the grass and it comes out and the ball starts traveling, it would take at least an hour to an hour and a half before it's fully formed. So I think there were a little bit more runs on the outfit. Nothing much different from on the playing surfaces. They were quite similar, but it was more to do with the outfield.
Because you've seen the lower Mulpani too.
I've seen the lower Mulpani and I mean, it's quite an incredible setup that you have there, to have Upper Mopani and Lower Mopani, and these stands there, a beautiful view, especially if you're standing at Upper Mopani looking down on Lower Mopani. And imagine if both those facilities up there and another facility there, that means you can host at least 12 to 14 teams at a time playing cricket. So 6 play in the morning, 6 in the afternoon. That's 12 teams, 12 matches. It's incredible. And even when we were at Upper Mopani, Lower Mopani was getting attention. I'm not sure what cricket is coming up. I didn't really delve much into that, but it's incredible.
Yeah, we've seen big growth of cricket, especially after Nepal played the 2014 World Cup. Because I remember as a kid, whenever I worked out to play with my teammates with the bat and ball, everyone was like, who plays cricket in Nepal? So, but at that time, it was all about football. But now the paradigm has shifted to cricket. And not that people don't love football anymore, because there's a lot of things going on with football and the federation and everything. So I think that's the reason. Now talking about cricket itself, let's talk about men's cricket now, because you've seen Nepal now playing back-to-back World Cups. This is something that was expected when we played in the 14s, right? After that, there was this wave of cricket, and even when the CAN's committee was suspended, there were a lot of franchise tournaments. There was Everest Premier League, there was Pokhara Premier League, there was Thangadi Premier League. Thangadi Premier League was played way, we call it far west, towards the Kashmir side of India, right? So, having seen all this, and now Nepal again playing, especially last time we played against team like South Africa, but in a clutch situation, we just didn't go over the line. We just lost by a run. Did you see that match? Do you have experience of seeing that match?
So I've experienced that match. I've also experienced the series against the West Indies just last year.
Yeah.
Tell you what, a lot of stars in that team.
Yes.
And I mean, you see how many of them are playing in different leagues, and how many of them are called up. So how competitive the NPL was. I think, so we've spoken about how in general, how healthier has the game of cricket become in Nepal and how it is loved. But I think the men's cricket in Nepal is on such a different level. And I think with this upcoming World Cup, especially with a filled up stadium in Wankhede, I think there might be not only an upset, but there might be victory that is not far away to grab it. I mean, just not getting over the line with South Africa tells you a story.
True.
So that's the men's team not getting over the line in South Africa. The women's team not getting over the line with Zimbabwe. What does that tell you? It tells you there's progress. It tells you there's positive progress, and there's a lot to draw from that. And I think I watched a couple of pictures of their training camp now, and you can just see that there's an energy of especially the new coach with his experience. I think we're heading to an exciting World Cup in India, Sri Lanka 2020 this year, and having players, and this goes back to what I mentioned earlier, like when I mentioned that women's cricket needs to now have players that are playing in different, a whole lot more players playing in different leagues. So you have quite a number of players that are playing in different leagues, and they bring that experience back home. They lift up the youngsters in the team. So people are not coming into the big teams are not coming into this league thinking, oh, okay, this is, they know what Nepal has to offer. So I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Either I'm going to be in Wankhede or I'm going to be glued to my screen. But it's something that you and I will probably have to call each other about to say, hey, remember what I said? Remember what I said? So I don't know. What is your honest feeling about? Because you have been much closer to them, be it as a commentator. These are people that you've grown around. These are stories that you've passionately shared. What is your feeling about where they are now? And I also want you to touch on the upcoming World Cup. and what we can expect.
So for me, cricket was always good in Nepal. Right, I remember in the late 90s, I used to go with my brothers to see, to watch cricket matches. There's this college called Pulchok campus. It's an engineering college. So it had a pitch, and Nepal played Hong Kong, if I remember. So it was a spinner's paradise, right? So looking at what Nepal has done, the players that they've come of age now, they have the experience of this current team. When you talk about it, they've already have the experience of playing a World Cup, and playing against South Africa was a big deal for us. Winning for me in that particular game was not important. I was happy my players got to have that experience of playing with a team like the Proteas, right? So now what I have, my equation is, like you mentioned, Nepal played West Indies. So we might have a chance of winning against West Indies because it's a neutral venue for both of us, right? Especially against England now. The Scotland is there. Bangladesh have been taken out. Scotland is a team that Nepal has won and has lost to. Main thing is we've got experience, right? Italy, they're a very tricky team, right? It's like Arsenal playing Aston Villa in the Premier League. You never know what's going to happen, right?
Trust a gunner to always bring a comparison with Arsenal. But
Yeah.
enjoy life at the top of the log
For now,
Yeah.
at least. So, but I think against England, everybody's saying Wankhede's wicket is pretty difficult for Nepal because there's no turn and we have more of a spinners, right? So England is a country, is a team, let's say, not so good with playing spinners. And now if there's some kind of turn, especially with that guy, Sher Molla, the mystery spinner. I remember when I was a kid, Anil Kumble was called the mystery spinner.
Yeah.
That's how he started. So now he coming in and now directly in the international scenario, that's going to be tricky. And now this is what I want to ask you. Can Nepal go over the line against England if given better turn in the wicket?
So Wankhede, I tend to disagree that it's not turning. From if you've watched any of the cricket earlier cricket that was last played, there is some turn on offer, and is a little bit thicker. So I think it will favor quite the spin bowlers, and taking off chances of Nepal getting off the line with England. I think there's a huge possibility there. Or let's not say a huge possibility, but let's say there's a possibility there. It's a side that's disciplined. It's a side that has a World Cup experience. We talk of mystery spinners. We talk of experienced players. We talk of passion and pride that they have. So, tactically a sound team, and I think the only thing between them and that victory over England is who shows up better on the day. But if one had to hedge who's taking the match, it's not an obvious England, that I can tell you. And England are also not taking it like that. So that just tells you a story. And victories, a close shave with South Africa, and victories over West Indies, and some victories over Scotland. Come on now, who's not going to believe that they can get over the line?
True.
And what that day will bring here, I think it must be declared like a national holiday.
National week, I guess. Towards the Super 8.
I'm flying over from Africa to come and celebrate here if it's called a national week holiday.
Yeah, that would be crazy, because the love for cricket that the country has shown, especially the youngsters, they're all experts, right? They're crazy about the game. I see so many young people here in Nepal. They have their own YouTube channel. They do the whole analysis thing while the game is going on. They do the watch along and everything. And I love that energy. And I think that's something ICC has seen, and these tournaments they've given to Nepal, because being an associate country, we have that crowd, right? Even especially in last NPL, the second season that just concluded, it was Guptill and Duplessis especially. He said he want player always plays franchise, and for him to come here was the crowd that attracted him.
Oh, wow.
Because he doesn't want to play in front of empty seats. He want to play in front of people. So I think that Nepali cricket can start with the fandom itself. There was this World Cup qualifiers game where everybody was with their umbrellas before the parapets were built, right? The concrete parapets, like 2-3 years ago under Monty Desai. So the ground was jam-packed. Everybody was holding an umbrella, and that photo got very good recognition from ICC. And I think it's the fans that make the sports beautiful, right?
I mentioned earlier how with the positive that the women's cricket team is taking from this, and how if there's more opportunity for them to play in front of their crowd, the fans carried them that victory over Zimbabwe. The men's team realized how many. I mean, in Oman, there were people filling up the stands in Oman when they played that last CWC League 2 in Oman. Everywhere you go, there is always someone, be it wearing a jersey or be it screaming. There's always a roaring rhino somewhere talking about cricket. Cricket is loved in this place. And that energy is something that you wish every country had. So a whole lot more bilaterals need to happen. But focusing on the World Cup, it's going to be an incredible experience. We're not looking for upsets anymore, but just victories, because it's a team that belongs there. It's a team that has continuously shown that they deserve to be there. So it's not a story of then they caused an upset. I don't think headlines would be right in that. It's headlines would be a proud nation that has gotten the victory that they deserve.
Will we get to see you in the T20 World Cup, being involved with ICC somewhere around?
Well, we don't know. I haven't received the call yet. And also, it's something that you wait. I mean, we are now finishing off the women's T20 qualifier. Who knows? Maybe a day or two from here, you get a call. Come and help with this. Come and help with that. So you never know. You never know. Sometimes you get a call the day it starts to say, come and help with this, and come and help with that. But be that as may, my heart is with, and my passion is with all the teams that are there, in Namibia, Zimbabwe, Nepal, Scotland now finally going there. It's sad that, the other teams missing out. However, it's Netherlands as well. So there's a lot of teams to watch, that the journeys are followed closely. You always relate to teams you've spent time there, you've covered their matches, you've seen the growth, and I think a whole lot more attention needs to go and funding and opportunities for associate cricket, and them themselves, the associate nations, they need to find a way of uplifting each other. So it's an exciting coming couple of weeks, and whether I'm in Wankhede, whether I'm back home, whether I decide to extend my stay here and watch from here, wherever I'll be, that match in Wankhede will be one for the books.
That'll be fun. So what's next for you? Like, what adventure awaits? Because you have an academy, you have to take care of a lot of things apart from the whole broadcasting aspect. So how do you balance all this, and what's next for you?
So currently in my little diary, I've been away from home for quite some time. So some time with the family, and some time overlooking at the business. Like I mentioned earlier, I've got a sports complex. There's cricket nets, there's 5-a-side football, there's 3x3 basketball, there's paddle tennis, there's a restaurant. So I need to go and make sure that everything is running, everything is in place. I need to go and make sure that all the plans, these big paddle tennis leagues that are coming. As you know, paddle tennis is the or as other call it, padel, fastest growing sport in the world. And these big leagues that are coming, there's a lot of attention. There's a lot of partnerships that are forming around that. So I need to make sure that I'm there to make sure if there's contracts to be signed, if there's things to be improved, and it's a sports that's growing like wildfire in Southern Africa. So I'm looking to start putting up courts at lodges, at safari lodges. I'm looking to put up courts at schools to grow the sport. I'm looking to take the sport into Africa. Cricketing wise, it's a year that I return to doing cricket tours for youngsters. So taking youngsters to the UK, be to Cape Town. A place that I also love taking youngsters to is Sri Lanka, and a place that I have found new love to bring youngsters to will be obviously if we can get an opportunity to play, be it at Mopani or at Tribhuvan University International Cricket Ground, and there's loads to do when you get here.
True. All right, Dix. On that note, I think we've come to the end of the podcast, and the first time, or let's say the last time we met, I was the one who told you have to manage your time because you have a very heavy schedule. You want to go around also, and one day rest, one day game. I think sometimes it needs more than that, but that's the schedule at least. So thank you for making your time.
I've got something for you. That is right over there.
Okay. Savia, actually, koi आइदेऊ न भित्र. त्यहाँ मेरो म यहाँ banked up छु. La. They're coming.
Okay.
That blue bag? त्यसमै छ. Blue plastic छ के एउटा. हैन bag नदेऊ.
In the bag
भित्रै छ, bag भित्रै छ.
Yeah, so just take out the plastic and give me the shirt.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
You can just throw it. Yeah. Thank you. Right. Yeah, okay.
Okay, cool.
She's on the switching, so.
Okay.
ऊबाट होइन ऊबाट क्लोजबाट सुरु गर अनि मलाई दिइसकेपछि चाहिँ वाइडमा के ल उसले खोलेर देखाउँछ अनि पछि वाइडमा जाऊ है त ओके या यु क्यान प्लिज
So I've got something for you.
All right.
Something that I'm very proud of.
Okay.
Something that I think carries a lot of my passion and dreams and hope. It's something that I want to share with you. For you also, the amount of hospitality that we received, not only from you, but from right here across Kathmandu. I'd like to give you this shirt. Whether you wear it, whether you hang it, whether you get it signed, this is something that I want to share with you.
Okay.
It's our paddle tennis
nice
shirt. So it's Namibia paddle.
Okay.
So yeah. So this is yours. There's paddle tennis balls everywhere, but you really have to look closely. So I hope one day there'll be Nepal paddle,
Okay,
and then we can. Our logo.
This camera, wait. Yeah.
Our logo.
No, I just wanted to say fun.
So fast, fun, and social. So that's what it's all about. So also being right here in Nepal has been fast. It's been fun. Has been social.
Are there any paddle tennis court in Nepal? I don't think so.
Nothing yet. So if there's anyone looking to do something with me, I'm happy to join hands with them and we start some paddle tennis.
Yeah, because I think off here I mentioned you about pickleball. So when I was in Bhutan, the president of Paras FC, he showed me a pickleball court. So that was held by the Pickleball Association itself. So I think it's one of the most growing sports too.
Fastest growing sport in the world.
Okay.
If I think there's plenty of opportunity in this country to build paddle tennis courts, and with the amount of talent just running around in this place, I think there'll be a few future paddle players.
Okay. So thank you for this. So on that note, I'll definitely wear it in one of my podcasts.
Nice.
We have a show where we also hang it there. So thank you so much, Dix. All the very best for your future. Hope to see you in the T20 World Cup, especially in Wankhede. Never know, we both might clash there.
We might be there. If I don't see you there, and then you have an open invitation to come to Namibia.
Yes.
If you do not come to Namibia, remember in Namibia we've got a lot of cricket that's coming up. We just hosted the Under-19 Cricket World Cup, Namibia and Zimbabwe, and then we've got the 2027 Men's World Cup, which will be in Zimbabwe, South Africa, and Namibia. Hopefully, maybe I'm back for the NPO. Maybe there's more bilaterals being hosted here. Maybe there's more tournaments. So our paths will definitely cross again, and it's a place that I'm looking forward to back to come to.
It will be fun when we both share the commentary mic someday. We'll make
Looking
it fun.
forward to that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, brother. Okay. Now we take a picture.
Yeah.
And we'll go. Savia, tim madra ho bhitra? Okay. Let's do one rapid fire, right?
Yeah.
This is... Thank you, Savia. So this, I don't put it up with the podcast.
Put it separately.
Yeah.
Okay.
Savia, roll me ho. Alright. म ओपनिङै गरेर गर्छु ल हल्का ल. Alright guys, नमस्ते सबैलाई स्वागत छ. अब it's time for the rapid fire. This is the rapid fire भनौँ, time नभनौँ. So we have Dickson Vambe. I'm going to ask you a few questions. It's a rapid fire. So I'm going to shoot you like a tracer bullet. You're going to answer me like a tracer bullet, right?
Let's go.
Okay. First one is toughest batsman you've ever bowled to?
Toughest batsman, I would say Nicole Lofty-Eaton. Hard hitter, tough to play against. I'm sure he scored his historic 100 here.
Yeah.
He also was part of the NPL.
Yeah.
So yeah, Nicole Lofty-Eaton.
Okay. One rule in T20 cricket you would change right now?
One rule, I think in T20 cricket, right? That super over. The second super over, just get it done with. Get it done with. We don't need 2 super overs.
Okay. Third one, dream bowling partner from any era of cricket.
Okay, Antini.
I knew that. I knew that. Okay, another one. Cricket or paddle? Which sports is more addictive to play?
Paddle, lifestyle sport, addictive. Cricket, legacy sport. Once a cricketer, always a cricketer. So cricket is you. Paddle is a lifestyle.
Okay. Most underrated cricketer in the associate world right now?
Most male or female? Or
you can mention any.
Most underrated cricketer, I think Isabel van der Vonning from the Netherlands. She's underrated. Quick bowler. And then from the male side of cricket, I think Paul van Meckeren, underrated.
Okay. Next one. As a bowler, what would you prefer? A perfect Yorker or a surprise bouncer? Which gives you more satisfaction?
A surprise bouncer is always nice.
Right?
Pinning someone before they know it. And especially if people are not expecting it. If you've been bowling, the ball moving away and then you just nip one back in. Oh, that's always nice.
All right. If you weren't involved in sports, what career do you think you would have?
So I'm a trained therapist. I'm a trained psychologist. So I did that for a few years.
Reading my psychology?
So that's probably what I would have done. So that's what I went to school for.
Okay. One word to describe the spirit of the Namibian Eagles.
Fearless. They are fearless. They play a fearless style of cricket.
Okay. Next one. Score the winning runs in a final or take the final wicket to win?
Final wicket is always more difficult. Final wicket, imagine that perfect wicket that you just mentioned at TU International Cricket Ground.
Oh.
And there's 60,000 people there roaring, and you take, oh goodness gracious. I think when they make like a Masters T20 NPL and I get to play that's what I would want.
Okay. Beyond Namibia, which country has the most passionate fans you've ever witnessed in person?
Goes without saying. It goes without saying. This place right here, it's crazy. It's incredible.
Nepal. All right. So that was my set of questions for the rapid fire. Thank you again, my friend. We hope you have a wonderful journey back home, and hope to see you again. Share the commentary box someday.
And thank you for the good coffee.
You're always welcome. All right. Let's take a photo, Shavia, and we pack. So there's some Buddhist people who live above.
Okay.
Times I think it's the same.